trade agreement reached just weeks ago, writing on Truth Social this morning that he made a fast deal with China to save them, but saying that China's totally violated its agreement. Not saying how they violated it, but then he ended by writing, "So much for being Mr. Nice Guy." Senior White House official is telling NewsNation that a call between President Trump and the Chinese president, Xi Jinping, is being set up. Nothing official on that yet, but joining us now, this should be interesting, Marty Latz, founder of Latz Negotiations, negotiated for White House advance teams, the author of The Real Trump Deal, eye-opening look at how he really negotiates. All right, welcome back, Marty. Thank you. What's he up to? He talked a little bit about this when he was with Musk. We'll play a clip from that. What's he up to with China?
You know what? This is the normal back and forth that happens with China. It happened during his first term, and it'll happen again. We're a couple months out from the deadline that China and the U.S. Put on the renegotiation over trade. So, you know, this is totally to be expected, and we shouldn't be surprised that President Trump is tweeting about it either.
Yeah, and speaking about it when asked, he was asked about just about everything last hour in the Oval. When he was asked about this, here's what he said.
They violated a big part of the agreement we made. You know, if you read that whole statement, I was very nice to them. I helped them because they were in trouble with the stoppage of a massive amount of business. But I'm sure that I'll speak to President Xi and hopefully we'll work that out.
That seems to be where this is going, right? A direct conversation between the two presidents. If so, is that a good idea in the near term?
You know, oftentimes when you have a very sticky, difficult negotiation, you do need to escalate it to the principals, to the presidents, and they can smooth over sometimes the contentious issues that become stumbling blocks for the lower level negotiators. Of course, lower level is still the Secretary of the Treasury and Bessent's team.
Right.
But it may very well unlock and move this negotiation forward in a fairly expeditious way.
So whether you're a Trump fan, like a Trump fan would say, oh, he's the negotiator in chief, you know, he's the best negotiator of all time. Well, Trump himself might actually say that, right? But it's someone who's opposed to Trump saying, oh, no, he has, yeah, probably today. But someone opposed to him, oh, no, he's not organized, he doesn't get anything done, he's failed in business, failed, you know. So either way, the point is he has had a lot of success at times negotiating, but he does do things differently. He's not the typical negotiator, whether it's as a business person or as a politician. So how does that impact the rest of the team? Like you said, Bessent, you know, where do they have to come in here where they might not with someone else? How do they handle it differently? What do you think?
You know, you're exactly right, Connell. It does create problems when you don't have an overall strategic plan and you don't stick to that plan. And when you're constantly surprised by your boss who jumps in with a tweet here and there and sort of throws you off sometimes the strategies and the tactics that you're using. But we, again, shouldn't be surprised at what President Trump is doing, because when he was in business, he had a real problem in his partnerships. In fact, he was involved in over 4,000 pieces of litigation in his 40-plus year business career. Many of that litigation were with his partners, with contractors, subcontractors, lawyers, as well as business partners. His first deal, the Commodore Hotel in New York City, he was in a partnership, long-term partnership with New York City, ended up being very contentious litigation. So when you're unpredictable in that way, it really makes it exceedingly difficult to get your team on the same page.
Okay, well, what about the other side of it? Could it help? Maybe not, but could it help against the Chinese? So in my experience I've interviewed a bunch of Chinese government officials, even in China. It's different than interviewing like a U.S. government official, right? Usually it's beyond talking points. It's usually, hey, we got this thing, three things, you know, and they list them out. If you are unpredictable, could it throw them off? Could it work to your advantage?
It can work to your advantage, Connell. In fact, unpredictability can be a positive trait in some negotiations, but there are limits. You have to have some level of predictability so you don't completely go off the rails in the negotiation and you don't hang all your subordinates, out the window and get their heads cut off. So it becomes probably problematic if it becomes too unpredictable, although some level of predictability can be a positive.
All right, last quick thing. I wonder if he's thrown off at all, and if it matters, by this. Have you heard about this whole taco thing that they're hitting him with, the taco trades, but how Trump always chickens out? And I'm kind of asking it half serious. You think that gets to him and it might affect his negotiating when people it sounds childish, but they say, oh, you're a chicken, you always back down. Will that affect this at all or no?
I think it may very well affect it because now he's got this meme out there that is swirling around the internet, and it's particularly harmful to President Trump's brand as an expert negotiator. And so I would anticipate that he will be looking to prove himself coming up as not chickening out either in this negotiation or in some of the other ongoing negotiations, whether it's with Iran or Russia or even Congress over his big, beautiful bill.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I've always intrigued, and that's why it's good to have you on about, how the psychology plays into these types of things, which you have so much experience with. And, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Again, he's trying to get tough again with China. A little bit looked like he was backing off. I don't know if all of this is a coincidence. Marty, thank you. Marty Latz with us on that. Let me go to